Hey, what is going on, guys? Chiefs here, and in today's upload, I'm going to be going over marksman rifles versus sniper rifles. A lot of you guys have been asking me in my streams, why do I use certain guns in certain situations and what guns work best for what? So I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to make a video on the 5 or 6 sniper rifles that we have in this game, or the 6 rifles that we have in this game. And I want to identify a couple of the main points making a distinctive difference between the two of them. Now, I don't know if you guys have experimented with both of them, but they clearly have their differences, and if you haven't already noticed yet, it typically seems, for the most part, that these marksman rifles are a little bit faster guns that kind of also sacrifice damage as well. So if you want to use a gun that's going to be a little bit faster, meaning has a faster fire rate, a little bit faster default ADS, and a little bit less damage, then you definitely want to go with these marksman rifles. Now, these marksman rifles do, for the most part, get a one-shot other than the EBR, unless you're in hardcore, of course. No matter what you do with the EBR, this is going to be a one-shot in hardcore, and it's going to be a 2-shot in core. But as far as the MK2 and the car go, their default damage are alone enough to get a one-shot body shot. If you guys like playing a little bit more aggressively, you don't like feeling the, I guess, the slower bolt time, the slower ADS speed, but also are willing to sacrifice a little bit of the damage, then you definitely want to consider using a marksman rifle. I typically like to use these marksman rifles in situations where I'm playing a 6v6 or a 10v10 playlist. Not really ground war, it's not really my speed. Now, it definitely can work, but if you guys like being more aggressive with your playstyle, if you guys like to play a little bit faster, have a quicker bolt, a little bit faster ADS time, then I would definitely recommend this in your public 6v6 matches. This is almost what I primarily use. These two guns right here, the MK2 carbine and the Kar 98K, specifically hardpoint and TDM. I love sniping in those two game modes. Alright guys, so I know I'm not playing TDM and I'm not playing hardpoint right now, but we are playing some free-for-all against some bots on Hack Me Yard, and I just want to go over two of the things that I was talking about: ADS speed and bolt time. ADS is essentially aim down sight speed, meaning the amount of time it takes from here to here. Bolt time is the amount of time it takes to put another bullet inside of your gun after firing. So this right here. Now, at a default level, meaning, you know, these guns with absolutely no attachments on them, marksman rifles are going to be faster than sniper rifles. But also, with that being said, the Kar 98 and the MK2 are very different guns. Now, this car is going to have a little bit more damage, it's going to have a little bit slower of an ADS, and it's also going to have a little bit slower of a bolt timer. But it still gets the job done, and it's still going to be a little bit faster than what a normal sniper rifle would be. So as you guys can see right here, it's pretty quick, you know, especially in these 6v6 tight quarters maps. This is definitely, without a doubt, going to be faster than an AX50 or an HDR per se. But that's just kind of one of the main things I wanted to point out. This car is going to have a little bit more damage than the MK2. It's going to be a little bit slower in the ADS, and it's also going to be a little bit slower in the fire rate. But as you guys can see right here, it's absolutely no problem to run around and shoot and quick scope people, being on your toes and having an aggressive play style. Like I was saying, marksman rifles are so good for it. Now, really quickly, after I run out of bullets with this right here, I'm going to be pulling up the MK2 carbine, and I want to show you guys the differences between the Kar and the MK2, because they are completely different guns, even though they are both marksman rifles. Alright, so as you guys can see right here, we're busting out the MK2 carbine. Now, with the MK2 carbine, you are going to be sacrificing damage, which is such a killer, man. It can be such a buzzkill getting a stupid hit marker, but it's got such a crazy fire rate, and it's so quick to ADS that this is essentially the fastest marksman rifle, like without a doubt. This gun is awesome, but the hit markers suck, and it really just depends, you know, if you're willing to bite the bullet on a hit marker here and there, because you're gonna get them inevitably. It's going to happen no matter what you do. But as you guys can see right here, man, this gun is just seriously so fast. And like I said, the hit marker right there, and what you would think would be a normal shot, but this gun absolutely rips. You know, if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of your damage and you just want to play like a complete crackhead, I would definitely recommend using an MK2, especially in a 6v6. And now for the sniper rifles, you might already notice just, you know, a clear distinctive difference where these guns just kind of feel a little bit heavier. They're a little bit slower with the ADS, but the one thing is that these guns absolutely pack a punch. You're going to get away with those one shots in the leg, the upper, you know, shoulder, the upper arms, you know, some of those areas where you typically get a hit marker with the marksman rifle. These are really nice because of that. You get a lot more one shots. However, it does come with the price of that they weigh a little bit more. They're kind of heavier. They've got a slower ADS, and they also have a slower bolt to them. You can use these in a 6v6 or a 10v10 setting. Don't get me wrong. You can absolutely shred lobbies with this, but for somebody that's just kind of starting off, trying to figure out the differences between these two weapon categories, these sniper rifles, I am going to assume are going to be better in a 10v10 or maybe even a ground war setting. I love using the HDR and the AX50 specifically on ground war, but you have to notice most of the attachments that you're going to want to put on these guns is ADS attachments. You're going to want to have a faster ADS on these. 100%. So as you guys can see right here, my HDR class is completely ADS to the max, and that is something that you don't necessarily need to worry about with a marksman rifle, because marksman rifles already kind of have a faster ADS. They're not as heavy of a gun. And yeah, so in conclusion, these guns are going to pack more of a punch. They're going to have a slower ADS, and they're also going to have a slower fire rate, but they definitely have their purpose in a lot of these playlists, and especially ground war, like I was saying. All right, so we're going to be going back into a free-for-all game here against some bots on Hackney Yard, and I want to show you guys the differences between the Dragunov, the HDR, and the AX50. So with this Dragunov, like I said, everything I was saying is still true, but this Dragunov is going to get a little bit more hit markers than the HDR and the AX50s. So as you guys can see right here, man, this Dragunov, it still has a pretty decent ADS, but it's definitely going to be a lot slower than the MK2 and the Kar 98. So that's one of the main things I want to show off with this Dragunov. It is also going to get a little bit more hit markers than your HDR and the AX50, but overall, I still would say it's stronger than all the marksman rifles. Like I said, the Dragunovs, you're going to suffer with a little bit more of the hit markers. It's going to have a little bit slower the ADS, but it's a semi-automatic sniper, so it kind of gets rid of the whole fire rate thing that I was talking about, but it's going to get you some hit markers, and it's going to be a little bit slower ADS, as you guys can tell right here. So, but the HDR, now I have every single ADS attachment that you could possibly imagine putting on this gun, and as you guys can see right here, the ADS is without a doubt slower than any of the marksman rifles. You got to be a little bit more patient with this gun. You gotta kind of play with the speed of this gun. You can't really maximize your aggressive play style to its fullest potential. You can still do it, you can still play aggressive, but you got to kind of wait for the gun. And that's one of the main things that really makes the marksman rifle stand out so much for me, and why I use them so much. You just kind of have to wait around this gun a little bit, and I feel like I don't actually play to my full aggressive play style potential because of that. So it still packs a punch. As you guys can see right here, this thing's getting virtually no hit markers, which it's completely intended for, but you're gonna have to play a little bit slower. You're gonna have to play with the gun, but that's actually kind of where this AX50 is gonna be pretty interesting for you guys. This AX50 is probably, in my opinion, gonna be the closest thing that you're gonna have to a marksman rifle. It's still gonna be a little bit heavier, but you can actually make this ADS a lot faster. You can make this ADS way faster than a Dragunov, an HDR, but it's also kind of got to wait to the gun, and like I said, it's gonna have a slower fire rate than any of the marksman rifles, and you just gotta wait for that bolt. That is the only killer with this gun. This thing packs a punch. It's fun to use, but you gotta wait on the bolt. And you know, like I said, you kind of have to sacrifice your playstyle for that. When you have to wait for the bolt, you gotta wait for the gun. So like that's that split second where you don't get to jump around that corner because you gotta wait for your gun to put a bullet back in, you know? It's still fast, it still gets the job done, but if you're optimally looking to play the fastest that you can possibly play, an MK2 or a Kar is going to suit you the best, without a doubt. And I hope you guys don't see this as me kind of like bashing these sniper rifles, because trust me, you can use these in 6v6 all day long. But if you really want to optimize your aggressive play style, if you want to play as fast as you can possibly play, it's just plain and simple. Marksman rifles are faster, and I honestly think that is what they are entirely made for, is for running, gunning, playing in these close quarter maps. And I think that's honestly why they made two weapon categories. You know, you can snipe with a marksman rifle and a sniper rifle, but I think this is why that they decided to make two weapon categories. They're completely different guns, and they have their respective place. So those are the differences between the sniper rifles and the marksman rifles. So I'd figure I'd show you guys my marksman rifle classes really quickly. I already made some videos on the Kar and the MK2. If you guys want to go check those out, they're going to be on my channel. But really quickly, this is my Kar setup. I'm going to be running the Singard custom 27 6 barrel tack laser, sniper scope, F-tac sport comb, and stippled grip tape. For the MK2, we're going to be rocking monolithic suppressor, the 24-inch barrel. It really doesn't matter what optic you want to choose. I'm using the Solo Zero NVG, and I'm also going to be using the FSS MK2 sport comb on top of the stippled grip tape. But I have never showed you guys either my HDR or my AX50 setups. I did show you guys my Dragunov setup for the Plague Sore video. I also have a video on that if you guys want to go check that out on my channel as well. I'll go over it really quickly. I got the 510mm compact barrel, tack laser, variable zoom scope, F-tac Stalker Scout, and I also throw the 15-round mag on it because I actually can't even tell a difference on the ADS whenever you add ammunition. So that's it for the Dragunov, but I have never showed you guys my HDR or my AX50 class, so I'll show you guys here really quickly. We're going to be running the 26.9 HDR Pro, tack laser, the F-tac Stalker Scout, sleight of hand, and a bipod. Now for the AX50, we're going to be running the 17-inch factory barrel, the tack laser, the SynGuard Arms Assassin stock, the focus perk, and stippled grip tape as my rear grip. And honestly, I find all of these classes to be absolutely extraordinary, no matter what you want to do, even if it's 6v6. Like I said, with all these sniper rifles, I'm optimizing the ADS because they already have the damage. These marksman rifles, I'm putting on some damage. You know, I'm putting on the strongest barrel I can on this car because I know it's going to get hit markers. You know, same for the MK2 right here. I'm putting on the strongest barrel I can because even though I am sacrificing ADS, it's already fast enough and I need all the damage I can get on it. So, like I said, damage is going to be your priority on the marksman rifles, and ADS attachments are going to be the most beneficial for your sniper rifles. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, marksman rifles versus sniper rifles. If you guys would like any more tips, tricks, maybe class setups, my settings, comment it below. Be sure to leave a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed. Drop a comment and drop a sub if you guys are enjoying the videos, man. I'm really enjoying the YouTube grind, and maybe you guys would like to stop by a stream of mine. I go live every single day at 12 p.m. Eastern, but that is going to be it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.